Hey guys, I went undefeated at the Düsseldorf Championship yesterday, playing the Goku GT deck, the red Goku GT deck. One of the main, one of the main reasons why I played the deck was I want to play the most aggressive deck, or one of the most aggressive decks with a high consistency. And throughout the testing, it was, in my opinion, the best choice to run. Yeah, so the leader, of course, the red Goku GT from PT17. You awake him in turn 2. You can awake him in turn 2, better to say. You want to awake him not for turn 3, so you can have more of the profits from his first sight, because he draws 2 cards when you attack, and you get to take a fighter and put it under the unison when it attacks. And if you awake him in turn 2, you lose the opportunity to get your cards under the unison. So I never awaked him for turn 3, I'd say. So 2 of the unison cards, you start with 1, you have to play at least 1 more in your deck, or I guess the best choice is to run 1 more in your deck. If your opponent has the Supreme Kai, Secret Rare and banish it, you need to have another unison in your deck, or in the best possible way you have it in your hand and you play it next turn. If you gets rid of it and it gets in the unison get in your drop area, your other side of the Goku GT says with a skill that he can play it from your drop area for 1 energy, so that's not a big of a deal. But if it gets warped, this could be a big of a deal, or you even lose the game if you don't have the unison. Yeah, so you need to play 2. 3 is way too much. You just want 1 more for the case that your opponent plays Supreme Kai. Then the 1-drops are 4 Trunks and 3 Goku. I thought about playing 4 Intensifying Power Trunks because it's the better card. Obviously, it has crit and it's a very fast and aggressive card. But if you go first, he exactly does nothing, and this one is the better choice. So it's after the dice roll, and you know if you go first or second, try to keep one of those 5 if you go first, and if you go second, it's obviously it doesn't matter really which of those 1-drops you keep, but if you have the chance to keep one of those, then this is probably the best choice for going second. If you don't start with any 1-drop, then in my case, throughout the tournament, I even decided to shuffle all my 6 cards back and draw 6 new, just to have the higher chances to get at least 1 1-drop. If you don't start with a 1-drop, then the game is getting really slow, and you don't want to. You want to play the slow game. You want to be aggressive. You want to be lethal at turn 3, and to raise the counters on your unison in the early game, you need to start with a 1-drop. So better shuffle all cards back and draw 6 new to get at least one drop before you don't even have anyone. Any one of those guys. Then the 2 drops are 4 Pan. Are so many lists to play now who run in 2 or 3. But in my opinion, if you want to see it, you have to play 4. If you don't want to see it, then okay, play none of them or 2. But in my build, I want to see this also pretty early in first turn or in second turn to get it under your unison, because of the surprise attack Vegeta, which was amazing throughout the tournament, to be honest. And you trigger him only with the Pan, with the Spirit Boost effect of the Pan, then he comes for free with crit, and you have even more pressure in turn 2. Yeah, and the other thing is, if you go second and you don't start with intensified trunks, and it's getting a bit grindy, the game, you can't leave him at turn 3 or turn 4, then this is a very good choice to special one of the 1-drops of Goku or Trunks to just get new cards and to raise your hand count, so you can also fight against some control decks. Yeah. The 3-drops are 3 times the Trunks blocker and 3 times the Goku crit. The Goku crit is one of the best cards in the deck. It comes for 1 energy. It has the crit, and they all recycle 1 card in your hand each time they get summoned from under the unison. So you have most of the times the control over the board, because you spam so many fighters early on, and having the crit is another big point for the early drops you have. So after the tournament, I guess the better choice is to play 4 of those and 2 of those, because they are okay, they're a blocker, but basically they do the same as this but without the crit, because you want to push with him also very aggressively, and having him instead of him always feels bad. So I guess 4 of those and 2 of those would be the best choice. The 4-drops are 2 and 2. Same as the 3-drops, this is more aggressive with 20,000 damage. This gives 10,000 damage, but it has barrier. But the barrier is, yeah, it's okay, I guess. But most of the times you just want to push, and this is the more aggressive way. The only advantage this one has is that he has got 15,000, and so it could special summon with Pan. But yeah, most of the times you want to see this instead of this. Maybe he also here would be 3 and 1 the better choice. But yeah, I guess 2 and 2 was okay. Then a little bit of spice was the chain attack Trunks 2 times, and the MVP of the deck is the Feel This Pan. This won a couple games, like 3 or 4 games, got won by herself. If you evolve with chain attack Trunks and play her for free, in the most of the cases you've got like 4 fighters on the field, and your leader also gets double strike and 5,000 push. So you have 4 plus her plus this one, so 4, 5. You get 6 fighter who can attack with at least 20,000 and double strike. And in most of the cases you've got 1 crit with this, or if you do into the surprise attack, you get 2 crit with 20,000 and double strike. Your opponent has to suffer so hard if you play the Feel This Pan and he doesn't have God Stealing or stuff to interrupt her. And the worst which can happen is that, yeah, he loses like 6 cards in his hand or stuff to defend it. But even then, you're so far ahead in the game that you win next round. Yeah, this was by far the best card in the deck, I guess. And even if you don't have the chain attack Trunks and you hardcast her at turn 3, it's as good as with the chain attack Trunks, but with the advantage that she's got barrier, so there are a couple less options for your opponent to interrupt it. Then the 3 Yamcha and 2 Vegeta. Yamcha was insane because it's live at turn 1. And you can interrupt so early on. Just interrupt the first 1-drop, you pop it, you got a 15,000 beat stick more on the board to push in turn 2. That felt insane. This is more of an offensive than defensive play if he gives you any interrupts in your turn to get rid of it. But I never played it defensively, to be honest. This was more versatile, I guess. Then the boss monsters, 3 of those guys. I'm not pretty sure about them. You can play it as not before you turn 4, and in most of the cases, you want to finish him in turn 4, but playing him for free energy feels heavy, to be honest. This is more for the cases when it gets grindy and you want to get rid of his boss, but I never finished with him, to be honest, and I never pushed with him so hard that I had the feeling that this was the better choice than just spamming 3 of the small guys. So maybe it's even worth just play 2 for the case that it gets grindy, and play more of the 1-drops, I guess. Then more of boss monsters. Decided for the overreal mirror, just to push for the last attack. Came up 1 or 2 times, I guess. Then of course one of the best cards in the deck. Comes for free with double strike. It cannot be blocked with 20k. This is also something which came up with a fearless pan. So you summon him at first and fearless pan, and he gets a 5k push also with it. This feels amazing. This has a reason why it's limited on 1. Played 1 triple flash. I guess you don't need to play it. It came up 1 time in the last round in the final against Launch, but I could have won with other ways, I guess. So this is more of a brick anytime, because you can even really combo with it because it costs 1, and you never end with active energy. You always use all of your energy, and so this is complete garbage, I guess. Secret rare was Supreme Kai. It has an offensive way because it got 40,000. It comes as a 1-drop. It got defensive ways, so you can interrupt the attacks of Unison and leaders, and of course you can banish your whole field if it gets grindy. And the last point was that I wanted to be prepared for a mirror match, and this is by far the best card against Goku GT. And the Super Combos was of course the best one. The Raditz, there's not much to explain about that. So for the extra cards, I didn't run any extra cards, any defensive extra card which costs me energy. They come all for free, except for the point that you need the units on the board, but that shouldn't be a problem. So I could go the most aggressive way in my own turn, go as forward as possible, to push as forward as possible, and not caring about saving the energy for the defensive step in the opponent's turn. So this was 3 difference of status, the best defensive cards I ever played, to be honest. Throughout all decks I tested. It can get rid of a secret rare, it can get rid of other boss fighter, and also decreases minus 5,000 for another card. So this was just insane for free. Then the 2 times Wolfang Fist also comes for free as soon as you have your unison on the board. Minus 5,000 ignoring barrier, that's okay. It's not as insane as this one, but it's also a defensive card which comes for free. Then 2 testing the opposition as soon as you have 5 or less life, then it's also for free. These were the only defensive cards I played, including the secret rare, of course. In turn 2, when you get to spam most of your fighter and push a little bit, you just need to make sure that in your defensive step you protect your fighters, so you can push even more on turn 3 and go at the lethal step. and just having one of those guys is most of the cases enough to protect most of your board. If he goes into your face or he attacks your face as your leader, then just take it and push even more the next round. The last two cards are the Footing Destruction Chopper, of course, for the mirror play and to push for game. And the last card was Setting Forth to the space. Was even better than I expected, to be honest. If you don't, it's also a 1-drop to start. It's the 8/1 drop, and it's flexible, to say. Yeah, if you're missing one of the crits, or if you're missing in the grind one of the boss fighter, or even one of those guys came up, yeah, you can take your whole deck in your hand and put any fighter under your unison. So there's none card more flexible than this, I guess. But playing more than one of this seems clunky, because it costs 1, and you don't want to get rid of your energy for anything except spamming fighter. Yeah, that's the whole deck. As I said, I went undefeated with it. I only lost 1 game the entire day. And shout outs to the host of the event, and of course to the whole team who lead the organization. And yeah,